Greetings in the name of Yahuwah and his son Yahusha Mashiach. My name is Malak Shalomo. Today is the 10th of June 2024. The time is 11:34 a.m. and I'm going to do a trade recap here on my trade on ES futures. And I just started a 300k Eval account and a 150k account. So I'm going to be trading those simultaneously to pass those evals. So the 300k is a lot bigger target. I think it's a 20k target, 7500 drawdown. So I think it's a better deal to have that as a PA account. So I'm trying this one for the first time, the 300k account. All right, so this is it right here. This one right here. This one right here is the 150. This one is the 300k eval. All right, so let's go into the setup. So we had a overlapping lower value relationship on the Camarillas. Right, so that's the Camarilla S3 right there at 53.40.25. And up here, it's not in view. Let me just pull this down a little bit. And that's Camarilla R3 at 53.71.25, right there. All right, and then we have the central pivot range that's in a lower value relationship. Let me just pull that back a little bit so I can point that out. I know there's a lot on the chart. Right, hold on, let me just clear this up here while I'm showing this, and I'll bring those VWAPs back in after. All right, so this is the prior day central pivot. That's the bottom central pivot. That's the central pivot, and that's the top central pivot right there, that red line, blue line central pivot, and this green line is Friday's central pivot, right? So now we have a tightening of the central pivot here, and it moved down lower, so it's in a lower value relationship. And in the pre-market in the ETH, we had that excuse me, we had this little rotation here. We eventually lost let's see, we lost the central pivot around 1:58 a.m. right, Eastern time, right? We lost that right there, sold off, and came down here to, we hit Camarilla S3. We created the overnight low, right here, created the overnight low. That's Camarilla S3 right there. Right, so in an overlapping lower value relationship, it's moderately bearish. So we got the bounce right there on Camarilla S3, came back up here to nowhere really, just kind of retested this breakdown level, this consolidation level right here. No major level was really tested, just below the central pivot range, right? So we got the rejection and came down here into the open here at 9:30, right? I believe that was the open right there. So let's see here what the setup was. All right, so we're gonna throw back on these VWAP bands, and I call this my bowling green strategy. It's kind of related to the 4, 5, and 6 line on the MTA in New York. There's a kind of green line that comes down to Lower Manhattan, and this is similar to me. One day I was looking at the MTA map, and I noticed, well, it looked kind of like my VWAP bands, right? So I just call it Bowling Green, and Bowling Green is like one of the lower stops in Lower Manhattan, so it's kind of like it looks similar on the map. Anyway, so I called it Bowling Green, right? So is correlated with this lower VWAP band right here, right? And usually at the open, so we have these indicators correlating, right? So we have Camarilla S3 as support. We have the VWAP band as support, the lower VWAP band, where you get a lot of buying off of that usually. All right, so let me just open this up a little bit. Right, so overlapping lower value day on a Camarilla setup, CPR target, mean reversion, CPR to CPR, right? So this was my original target right here. And this was around here, this Camarilla S3. I'm looking for support buys at this level here. So I didn't, let's see here. Right, so this is the open right here, right? So we open, we rejected VWAP. We rejected VWAP here. This is a Wyckoff theory test of supply on a bigger time frame. And let's see. Right, so we had that rejection at VWAP. We came down here and we did this consolidation, right? But it's moving bearish. I was waiting for it to kind of test Camarilla S3. We came down here. This was the lowest level at 53.41. That's the RTH IB low. And then we started to reverse. I wasn't too keen on taking the reversal yet because I wanted to see volume kind of spike up a little bit. So we got a volume spike right here and we tested VWAP, right? So I wasn't too confident in the bowling green strategy with it being an overlapping lower value. So if it was something like a higher value, I would be more keen to take this right at the reversal here, maybe a breakout somewhere right here, right at the high volume. On this candle right here, we just broke this little consolidation, right? So we got that reversal here, consolidated, and then we got the volume coming in, pushing up here on these two candles, right? So I took those, right? I took that. Let me see, what was my first entry was at 53.45.25, right? At 9:55. So 9:55, which is basically here, right? Oh, I'm on the 1 minute chart. Okay. So let me go to the 5 minute. Right. So on this candle here, I actually took that trade, right? So took this trade here and let's see here. Right here, took this trade at 53.45.25 and added to the trade here at 53.47.50. Now, when we got up here, we pushed up to 53.51.50, right? So let's see here, 53.51.50 was up here at my first upper deviation on the VWAP, and we tested that, and we had this rejection right here, this rejection candle, this kind of engulfing candle right here, and came back to VWAP. So when I saw that right here, let's see. When I saw that candle, it was too aggressive for me, so I stopped out with a small profit, right? So this was in profit from 53.45.25, and that got up to 53.48.25, right? This one here was slightly above break even, right? This entry right here. So after looking at it again, we retested VWAP. I decided to jump back in here again as we push back up, right? Decent volume, nothing too crazy. It had a little higher volume than this one down here. So I jumped back in here at 53.49.75, right? So when we broke up now, when we broke out, we came to 53.52.75 and had this rejection. Let's see here, 53.52.75. So right here it was the break above the IB high, and we had this pullback. So this is where I didn't manage the trade properly. I could have held this trade and just because I already had some profit to kind of sustain any losses, right? So I could have held this, but on this rejection here, I was kind of worried from this candle for it being like another sell-off, right? So I exited prematurely on this trade here, and we ended up with 275 in profit on the day. So if I had just held this trade here, right, it didn't even come back to break even. So this wasn't good trade management here. I should have accepted a little more risk, and then I could have gotten my target, which would have been up to the CPR, the central pivot at 53, 56.75 right here. That was my original target, right? So it wasn't a great trade management right here. I kind of got spooked by this candle before, and when I started to see this losing IB high again, I just kind of prematurely exited the trade. So should have held here, nice entry on the retest of VWAP, could have taken me back up to the CPR. So you live and you learn, and I'll try and I just wanted to secure like a win, man, on a Monday. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta hold this strategy a little better, and I've noticed this like on the opens when we do come down and test these levels, when you have these convergent levels here like Camarilla S3 and the lower VWAP, right? It's a nice little strategy I'm creating here, calling it the bowling green for the reversal after the open. You come down here, you get buyers, you get some volume in here, you get buyers, and you start trying to target some of these levels here, like the upper VWAP here. That's a nice little target, and also, well, some levels. Well, this today we had this level of the CPR, which is kind of like a mean reversion kind of trade, back to the CPR, which is kind of like the meat of the market. It kind of attracts price a lot. All right, y'all. So that's my trade. We starting off with this 300K eval. We got 275 today on the 150 and the 300K. So let's see what we do tomorrow. All right, y'all. Trade safe and stay blessed.